Hi guys, so welcome to the third part of Python sets. It's really interesting to look at how far we have come. We started off with Python sets, and then we created a Python set or two, then accessed the items in the list, modified, changed, and added items to a list. Not to a list, rather to a set. And then we talked about the different functionalities and methods that exist in sets. That's what we talked about earlier on. Now we are going to look at a few other functionalities. Right. So we have the names set, and so we're just going to use that to see what we can, how we can, how we can demonstrate the different methods that that can be performed on a set. So the first we're going to look at is remove. So basically, we can attempt to remove a specified item from a set. So to do that, we simply use the remove method, and it's pretty simple. With this, you can choose to remove an element. So we could start off by removing Gideon. So this, removes an element. Right. So with this, you can see that we'll no longer have Gideon anymore. So that's out of the elements in our set. Now, if you attempt to remove Gideon again, so which we say names dot remove, and we try to remove Gideon again, we would definitely have an error. Now, let us look at a different element that would let you remove not an element, but a method that lets you remove an element but doesn't throw up an error. So here we're going to use names.set, but this time we're going to use discard. Right. So with this, we would try to take out Gideon, and Gideon doesn't exist anymore. So you would notice that there's no error. Right. So this, removes, attempts to remove, an element without errors. So that's the difference between the discard and remove. So you can do that. You can basically use discard to remove stuff. And just to prove it, I'll just copy this, because we did not do that. So again, I will just basically take this out and look at the next one. That's Kabir, just to prove that that works. And you can see that our names sets has Kabir removed. Right, now the next thing we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at the pop method. Right, the pop method will remove and return, it will remove and return any element in the set. So again, dot pop. Now when we say arbitrary, it's just going to pull out something from here. We don't know what's going to pull out, because it's just basically going to pull out something. So it's Mudia. So yep, it did pull out Mudia. So you can see what the pop does. It basically, takes it out. Right. So you don't try to pop up an empty. You don't try to pop up or pop out an empty set. You're going to get an error. Then, so we have done what? We have remove, discard, pop, now clear. So with clear is basically you want to empty the set, right? So you clear, but you're emptying the set. So we know we have names dot sets. So now we want to empty the set, and what we're going to use is we're going to use clear. You know, so what it does is it empties the set, but then the container is still there. So we have an empty set now. So you can see that. Now, final part of it is we are going to look at delete. So what delete does basically, it clears the whole set. It takes it out of memory, right? Removes it, doesn't exist. So finally we use del and names set. So you can see that we had an empty, you know, here we had empty set. Right now with this, and then when we now try to say names, you can see there's nothing like that. Names underscore sets, and it's going to ask us what are we trying to do, right? So basically we have just shown how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 methods, and I like to call them functionalities, right? 5 methods from what we could do with a set. And you can see first off, we're able to remove Gideon using the remove method, and I also reminded you or let you see that when you try to take out an element that does not exist with remove, it's going to pop up an error, it's going to throw up an error. Then we and now use discard, but discard in that attempt to remove an element that doesn't exist, there wasn't any error, but yet discard can remove elements. Then we use the pop, you know, well, okay, apologies, I did not. So pop removes an arbitrary element. So it could be anything, it could just take out anything from it, right? Then we can see that here Mudia is no longer here. So again, the next we used was clear. It empties the set, so we have an empty set, like an empty container. And finally, the del deletes it from memory. You can see we no longer have that in memory. So that's what we have done with these functionalities. Again, take your time. I keep saying it, take your time to watch this video again and again, and you're going to have a sense of what it is. Right? Like, subscribe, share with your friends and enemies so they can pick up Python one object at a time.